Prince Harry has been accused of harassment and bullying at scale by the boss of a charity he helped set up. Earlier this week, the Duke of Sussex announced he was stepping down as a trustee of Sensible, which he set up in honour of his mother, Princess Diana. And now Sensible chair Dr. Sophie Chandoka has spoken out against him in an interview with Sky News.
At some point on Tuesday, Prince Harry authorised the release of a damaging piece of news to the outside world without informing me, or my country directors, or my executive director. And can you imagine what that attack has done for me, on me, and the 540 individuals in the Centre Valley organizations and their family? That is an example of harassment and bullying at scale.
Now, I must say that Prince Harry has not offered a statement in response to this, but a source close to him said the accusations are, quote, completely baseless. And a former trustee of his said that in his experience, there was never even a hint of that. And we're now joined by royal biographer Angela Levin. Angela, thank you for joining us, particularly at short notice like this. What do you make of these allegations?
Well, they're fascinating, actually. I think a lot of it is to do with they didn't get on very well, and they were also Dr. Chandoka was also very, very annoyed with Meghan. I'd just go through it quite quickly. That Harry had stopped going to school and desperately unhappy about his mother, and King Charles thought he should go to Africa. He went there and he saw this group of orphans whose parents had died from IVF or something, HIV or something like that. And he stayed there and he met up with the prince under Prince Sioso, who'd also lost his mother. So they built this charity, and it's been his love. He's loved it so much. He talked to me a lot about it when I was writing his biography. But he hadn't been there for 6 years. And he hadn't done so very much. And it's difficult if you're in America and you should be in Africa. It's quite hard. So they got into a sort of really nasty discussion between Dr. Sophie, who people think is wonderful and very talented, and other people who think Harry is the same. But they both think there's a negative and a positive there. And it's an extraordinary attack on each other. It started off with Meghan, actually, because they had a polo game to raise money for this charity. And Meghan got very, very cross when Dr. Chandoka tried to sit in the middle when they won the award. And she kept trying to push her out the way. And she actually wasn't that sort of woman you could do that to, and got very, very annoyed with her. And the public could see Meghan was pushing her out. So she was asked if she would help the press say how wonderful Meghan is, and she got very cross about that too. So what we've left with is Dr. Chandoka saying that we've got to do things with these children and we mustn't be told what we're doing. And it's absolutely the way people are speaking and handling this are shocking. And Harry, who is desperately unhappy. But there's no legal action on Harry. But she says that she's been very badly bullied, and especially directed at black women, which actually, you can imagine, stand very badly with Harry and
Angela, of course, they both, at the moment, we understand they deny these claims. I'm just going to bring in my co-panellist here, Will Kingston. Will's got a question for you. Will, take it away.
Yeah, Angela, when these stories pop up, there is this narrative that emerges that Harry is maybe a bit naive, a bit dim, but still fundamentally a decent bloke who's been led astray by awful Meghan. To what extent do you actually think Harry is his own man, or to what extent do you think that narrative perhaps has a grain of truth to it?
Well, I knew him quite well. I was with him for 15 months when I wrote his book. I thought he was terrific, and he had tremendous sense about how to deal with children and people, very good. All that's gone when he met Meghan. I think she's taken every inch of his ability away from him. And he's scared of her, and so he doesn't know what to do. So his life is very, very difficult.
Tonight, chilling the tables may have turned, and a stunning Prince Harry and Meghan Biographer Angela Levin about their own experiences with royal bullying, strong and now find themselves is now allegedly scared of his own accusations. As fresh allegations of bullying and control finally getting a taste of their own medicine, insiders suggest a relationship dynamic more complicated both sides of the royal than ever before. 4 years, the controversy began when old spoken openly about feeling victimized by palace of bullying from palace British media. First whispered years ago, explosive interview to Netflix's Tell-All series. Angela Levin, the Sussexes have built a narrative around being mistreated and Meghan's influence over Harry borders on dominance. That narrative and that his once fiery independence has been replaced. New reports claim that the couple themselves Levin's latest accusations of bullying from within their own conviction. Former staffers have come forward alleging that emotionally for the Sussexes and was far from the fairy tale image presented to the public. Paints Meghan as commanding and unyielding, demanding, a woman and who controls the narrative with precision, echoing the very terms Harry and Meghan once used social media their royal experience, reigniting debates online, over power, reactions are fierce and divided, and manipulation inside supporters of the couple insist this is another smear campaign. The accusations are nothing new. Outspoken figures. She's faced years of headlines, particularly royal watchers, demanding it even ruthless. Arguing that Harry and Meghan are finally experiencing the same scrutiny they once dished out double standard applied to media outlets across the UK. The latest wave of US have threatened to reopen old tabloids just as the couple attempt to rebuild their public image. More cautious commentators Harry's evolution from royal soldier to celebrity advocate. The headlines alone are enough to reignite the debate. And assertive, are the Sussexes victims of hypocrisy, more withdrawn, or of yet another media feeding frenzy? This isn't coincidence. This controversy doesn't exist in isolation. She believes Harry's personality has shifted under royal family, especially as King Charles and Prince William work to protect the monarchy's reputation. The palace remains silent, some insiders quietly suggest that Harry's choices continue to backfire, but the silence drawing attention away from royal duties and back. Is Harry truly afraid? If true, merely misunderstood, these allegations could mark a turning point in how the world views Harry and Meghan. In their marriage tilts dangerously one way. They've been seen as truth tellers. The answers remain hidden behind the guarded gates of Montecito. The question looms large. As Angela Levin's words they once condemned. Whether this is karma or another case just of another royal story, one thing is psychological clear. The Duke and Duchess are once again headline gold. Fear. And whether Harry is truly scared or simply devoted, waiting to see whether Harry and Meghan can weather yet another royal reckoning. And in the court of public opinion, perception is everything.
Renee, did you want to have a question for Angela as well?
Hi, Angela. Just very quickly, the story goes, if we listen to Dr. Chandokar, that he made his announcement last week without any consultation with the charity. That in itself is just naive and poor management, isn't it?
That's true. That is true. But I think he was probably at the end of his... he couldn't bear things. I mean, he's had a very bad time, actually, lately, hasn't he? And I think he doesn't think about other people. He doesn't know quite what to do. I don't know how much he dislikes her, but I don't know how much she dislikes him. But the whole thing seems rather childish, that they couldn't sit down and actually discuss it all and be sensible about it.
Angela, sorry, Angela, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it there because we have to move on. I really appreciate you coming on at such short notice. That's really helpful. Thank you, Angela. Take care. Look, this is massive, isn't it? And this is going to be all over the Sundays.
It's massive.
This is going to... I mean, I suppose we could have seen something coming given what happened earlier in the week, but this is explosive. Kai, what do you reckon?
You're totally right. And what's really sad, actually, about this is that mention of the Sussex machine. This is history repeating itself, isn't it? The royal family machine, the PR and media machine that has grown around it in the last few decades is insatiable. Of course, Harry and Meghan could leave the royal family, but they couldn't leave behind the way that they manipulate the media, the way in which they try to shape public opinion. I think it's sort of quite disturbing, really. Yeah, I think this is just a consequence of that, isn't it?
I think the disturbing thing is that Harry and Meghan are insufferable, obnoxious, nasty, arrogant.
Tell us how you really feel.
Arrogant, bullies.
But you like them otherwise.
And I think everyone now knows it. Like, this isn't the first time we've heard about bullying. I asked about Meghan because normally the bullying allegations are against Meghan specifically. But obviously, where there's smoke, there's a heck of a lot of fire here. They're both awful.
But you know what?
Keep them out of the country for as long as possible.
But you know what? I don't think Prince Harry was awful. I think he was one of those his blokes down the pub with his mates and everything. I don't think he was, but I think he's been sucked into this Meghan PR machine, and I actually feel sorry for him. I actually think he's going to end up a broken man, and I think we should worry about him from that perspective.
Renee, he needs to take accountability for his actions. I'm sorry, like, you know, you can't say, oh, because he's married a witch, suddenly, therefore, he's abrogating
Also, Renee,
any
what
responsibility.
did you make of Spare? I mean, you don't have to read it cover to cover. I'm sure it's a thrilling read, but there was some really quite interesting stuff in there.
They were, but it wasn't really levied against him, was it, in that book? It really wasn't. You know what, I think, as we said, using the word spare, I think the spare is always a problematic role, especially if it's inhabited by a man, it would seem, because Princess Anne did okay, but the men haven't done so well. Prince Andrew, Harry...
So let's just return to what Prince Harry said earlier in the week, because I think it's important context. So he said it is devastating that the relationship between the charity's trustees and the chair of the board broke down beyond repair, creating an untenable situation. Although we may no longer be patrons, we will always be its founders, and we will never forget what this charity is capable of achieving when it is in the right care. Harry, the younger son of King Charles, of course, co-founded Sentinel in 2006 in honour of his mother, Princess Diana, 9 years after she was killed in a Paris car crash. Luke, I'm just going to bring you in on this very quickly. What do you make of this one?
All I'll say is that we've seen time and again accusations of bullying being used to go after people and essentially as an attempted character assassination. So I would be sceptical of people calling others, accusing them of bullying and so on. We've seen it, especially with politicians, civil servants will often use that. So I think with these claims, we need to maybe wait for the evidence to come out, because often it can just be an easy way to get at someone and have their name with negative headlines.
You are completely right that there's always more to the story than meets the eye. And I think,
but if this was an isolated allegation, that's one thing, but this isn't the first time we've heard bullying against the Sussexes.
Yeah, I should just point out that Meghan was accused of bullying too, but she denies it, and so it's looking pretty messy, isn't it?
I mean, look, I've just shown you a headline that says, Harry demanded Africa charity boss publicly defend Meghan, and it always comes back to their coupling, doesn't it, and Meghan's reputation.
Look, this is going to be, I would guess this is all over the Sundays, and it's going to ripple on for quite a long time.